I, 34 male, have been married to my wife, 31, for 3 years and have dated for a year before that. We have a toddler and she's pregnant with our second. Everything about our lives is absolutely perfect. She's the love of my life, but today, I found something that's really messing with me. My wife and I worked together for the same large company. We were nothing but acquaintances for the longest time. She was that pretty girl at work who seemed a bit stuck up. We hardly ever talked. I didn't even think she knew my name. We were in the same office dodgeball league for a summer, but that was it. I had another girlfriend when I was 28. We met online. She was great, but 5 months into the relationship, a friend sent me screenshots of an online dating profile with her name and pictures. I confronted her, and she vehemently denied it all. But the evidence was right there, and I couldn't trust her anymore, so we broke up. A few months later, I started dating my wife after we had met online. We had never even had a full conversation before matching with each other online. But suddenly there was this spark, and the rest was history. We moved pretty fast. We both wanted to settle down and have a family. She's a wonderful mother to our kids and the love of my life. But recently, I found out that she had sabotaged my relationship with my ex all those years ago by following my private Instagram with a fake account. She saw photos of me and my ex, stalked her account, took pictures from her personal Instagram to upload to a dating app, and the rest was history. I found out after she got a new iPhone for her birthday, and she gave her old one to me to erase and sell online. One of her burner IG accounts was that same profile that had followed me right around the time of my breakup. She's still following me and my ex with that account. She probably forgot to unfollow. It was really freaking weird, and I confronted her. She confessed to everything but blew it off like, "Oh, well, I had such a big crush on you. I did what I had to do, and it worked out, didn't it?" I admit how she blew it off was so strange to me. I told her I don't know who she is anymore. She got upset and said, "So you value a 5-month relationship over your wife?" and said that we were meant to be. I got really upset and called her crazy, which led to her crying in our room and refusing to come out. I don't know what to think. My friend is just telling me to let it go, that if anything, it's a cute story to tell the grandkids one day. But it just creeps me out how she had always given me the cold shoulder before we started dating. But all that time, she was obsessed with me to the point of sabotaging my relationship. To my knowledge, she's never done anything else dishonest or sneaky, so this is just wildly out of character for her. I don't know how to word it. I guess it's nothing, but maybe my friend is right. Was I too hard on her? Should I just let it go? Am I the idiot for getting mad at my wife? LOL, everything about our lives is perfect? This girl has been playing chess while you're playing checkers. She saw what she wanted and had and has no ethical or moral issues getting it. One day you'll find that curtain and then look behind it to see what's happening. LMAO, cute story to tell the grandkids? Not the idiot, but I wouldn't want to be you, buddy. This is one of those, if she did this, then what else has she done? Or at the very least, what else will she do in the future? If she can do all that just to get together with you, then who knows what she'll do to keep you, or hurt you if things go wrong. The only thing worse than the act is the nonchalant response. She didn't get upset or embarrassed, but did the old victim blame reversal. This is what's concerning here. Those morals and ethics, rather lack of, will come into play when she's had enough of the relationship, or he wants out of this manipulation. It's going to be rough, and it's going to be against OP. Your wife is nuts. I don't know if she's a psychopath, a sociopath, a malignant narcissist, or what, but I guarantee whatever she has can be found on this list of severe disorders. Best of luck with the rest of your life. If you ever want a divorce, try to find a way to make her think it was her idea, because otherwise, you're going to have a rough time of it. Oh, they have kids, and she will gaslight those kids either way in her favor. OP, she's the kind of person who would frame you for something awful and ruin your life just to win custody of your children. If nothing else, if I were in your shoes, if you have a means, I'd reach out to your ex and apologize. The more I think about it, the more creeped out I am when I considered that you had never even spoken to her when she did this. That is some horrifying behavior. My parents recently told me, 22 female, that they had considered another name for me when mom was pregnant with me. It was the name that they decided to give me until mom changed her mind. The original name was Dove Emberly, but my mom was worried it was too weird after a while, and she wanted to change it. My dad never did. Eventually, I decided to be named Emily Catherine. I don't think my dad really likes my name, but maybe he wouldn't have liked anything other than the original. The conversation about my original name came back up between my parents first, when mom basically asked dad if he wasn't glad that they changed their minds, and dad said no. So they actually asked me and told me the two names. I told them I preferred the original, and I was sad I didn't get Dove as my name, which would be way better than Emily, in my opinion, and the middle name Emberly I preferred too. LOL. Mom mentioned Ocean, or Ocean, had been a contender too, and I said that would have been amazing. Mom really wasn't happy. Dad told me if I wanted to use the original name, he'd give me the money to change my name. Mom wasn't happy with him, but she really wasn't happy with me. She told me I didn't even hesitate to say I preferred the original name, and she asked me why I liked it so much, and told me how sad it made her that the name she felt would suit me better throughout my life instead of as a little girl was one I could discard so easily, especially because I reacted positively to Dad saying he'd pay for me to change my name. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She asked and you gave her an honest answer. Parents choose names for newborns knowing nothing about their personalities and preferences. Sometimes they get it right. Sometimes they don't. My parents gave me an uncommon but fairly normal name, while my uncle wanted me to be named Rainbow. As it happens, I would have been more suited to be Rainbow than my given name, haha. But you just can't know if the name you give a baby will suit them for their whole lives. Dove Emberly. LOLOL. Dove is fine, but Emberly belongs on Tragedy, to be honest. If you change your name now, even with your parents' backstory, this is going to look like a lame attempt to be edgy. Dove Emberly sounds like a try-hard name. Come to think of it, if I met an adult named Dove Emberly at birth, I'd be like, cool. If I met an adult who changed their name to Dove Emberly, I'd be like, oh, you're one of those. Does anyone else's opinion really matter on your name? No, not. But yeah, it's a try-hard name. I, 25 female, am a bride, and I'm marrying the absolute love of my life. My sister and I have always had a great and interesting relationship. Most sisters would know. One day you start fighting because she wore your clothes, and the next you're having Dunkin' together. Typically sisterly things. Well, my sister's always been, to put it frankly, a pick-me girl. She has no friends who are women because she says she sees them as competition, and she likes to be friends with boys. She will only date rich men and refuses to settle for less. A little bit about that later. My sister has not had a relationship that lasted longer than 2 months, and she's always got a new guy on her shoulder. My mother and fiance had recently talked about this before I sent out my invitations. I had mentioned that since our venue was on the smaller side, we didn't want strangers at our wedding or them to be in our wedding photos. My mom had made a comment about how anyone my sister would bring would be a fling, since she's currently not in a relationship. When we went home that night, I brought it up to my fiance. We'll call him Bertram. I told Bertram that I didn't want a complete stranger in my wedding pictures, and certainly not someone my sister would have only been dating for a few weeks, maybe a month. Just this past week, Bertram and I sent out our wedding invitations and they read, "We have reserved seats in your name." So for example, for my fiance's family, he reads, "We have reserved 4 seats in your name." When my sister received her invitation, hers read, "We have reserved 1 seat in your name." And boy, was she upset. She called me and told me that it wasn't fair, that she couldn't bring a +1. I told her that she didn't have the best track record with men, and that Bertram and I didn't want some random person nobody would talk about in our wedding pictures. She said I was selfish, and that since our wedding wasn't close, she had 6 months to find a boyfriend, and that it would be a serious relationship. Now, here I might have gotten mean, but I told her I would seriously doubt if she found anyone, given her track record for the worst men alive. As I mentioned before, rich men who think buying gifts will excuse cheating and lying. She got upset, hung up, and said she would be attending my wedding with a boyfriend of 4+ months because she would find one. Am I the idiot for not giving her a +1? And would I be an idiot for considering to uninvite her altogether? I'm over here thinking about the poor guy the sister's gonna rope into a relationship for the rest of the year, drag to a wedding like a trophy, then dump it the new year. Not the idiot. For the last time, for everyone in the back, you don't have to invite anyone to your wedding just because someone expects it. People are free to take that invitation and respond to it however they see fit. True, but to be honest about the specific reason, I personally wanted people to feel comfortable, so most single invitees got +1s. As a single person, I absolutely dread events when I'm alone amongst a sea of couples. A +1 wouldn't be in family pics, and it would make the event easier for the sister. Oh God, you are the idiot. You come across as very judgy and contemptuous of your sister, and I bet that tone was apparent when you explained the rule to her. You might win the battle, but if you value your sister at all, you need to find more respectful, empathetic ways of communicating with her. Update. I called my sister because I wanted to have a civil conversation with her. I apologized for how I spoke to her. She accepted my apology but told me she was too embarrassed to be single at the wedding. I had mentioned to her that we were on a budget. I mentioned the pictures again and the fact that my husband had plenty of single friends going that she could mingle with. She took offense to that, saying that she wouldn't just pick some random man at a wedding. I told her I had made up my mind that I couldn't swing a +1 for everyone, and that if she really wanted to bring someone that bad, she could pay for it. I might have made it worse, because now she's refusing to speak to me. I, 24, have siblings, a preschool female, a young teen female, and a 19-year-old female who have lived with me for 5 years, and our mother is not mentally there. I didn't even know of my youngest sister's existence until she was a toddler and a family member expressed concern for her. That's just to give you an idea of how unstable my mom is. My 19-year-old sister, let's call her Emmy, went to college in the fall. Financial aid had covered a really heavy fee. It was left to me to cover about $6,000 after it, which didn't seem too bad, considering how much uni is without it. I also agreed to give her $50 a month to sustain herself. I agreed to pay that money for my sister because, at the time, I really didn't want her taking out any loans. I didn't get the opportunity to go to college. I've been working since I was pretty young, and I had my siblings, so there was no way I could juggle a job that would sustain us and college. Now my sister called me a few days ago and asked for $100 to go out with her friend. I said I don't have it. She got upset and said that the money I gave her was only enough for her sanitary supplies, and she could barely eat out. She has a meal plan and a dorm. I told her to get a job for the 5th time. Guess what she told me after? She told me I wanted to ruin her college experience because I was uneducated and didn't get the chance to go to college. So I'm placing my anger on her because I'm jealous of her. We even argued for a hot minute. She even asked me what I was spending my money on, and I asked her if she knew how much it was to maintain our youngest sister. She said she was in school half the day. My younger sister is in daycare. Public school is free, but daycare is not. I need to work, and in order for me to work, I have to pay an outrageous amount to leave her in a daycare. Now Emmy is somehow unaware of this and is acting like taking care of 3 of them is a financially easy task. Mind you, this is not the first time she's being selfish. I asked her to apply to be an RA to get free housing, but she didn't even attempt to apply. If she got rejected, I wouldn't have been upset, but she didn't even turn in an application. After arguing with her that what she said was selfish, I gave in and agreed with her. I told her I was so jealous that I was not going to pay for tuition ever again, and when she came home, she could get a summer job to maintain herself or take out a loan. I don't know why I'm working myself thin and exhausting myself for someone who doesn't even appreciate it. I told her I wasn't joking and was dead serious and hung up. She sent me some apologies after. Am I being an idiot for cutting her off? She'll still always have a place in my house. I'm not leaving her homeless. Or is she just a teenager and being childish? P.S. I understand that taking in my sibling was my choice, but it wouldn't hurt to receive some thanks for the amount of work I do for them. Not the idiot. You decided to take in your siblings and you're providing for them. That doesn't mean you have to provide your adult sister with luxuries. $50 a month is very little. It's also free money she's getting in return for literally nothing. Nobody owes her fun money. You don't even owe her tuition. She should also be actively seeking out resources on campus. Lots of health services places can hook you up with free hygiene products. There are tons of free events on campus and clubs where she can hang out without spending a dime. That's the college experience. It's weird that someone raised by an unstable parent is still this immature and unfamiliar with how life works. OP, you have very different experiences of poverty. You had to become a parent, sacrifice your education and future, and take care of yourself and your siblings. She's had you to rely on. You're the parent who makes sure she doesn't have to carry all the burdens of poverty. She's not stepping up to help herself, let alone her siblings. She's incredibly lucky that she has a sibling who's been willing to do so much for her, and she's more than old enough to realize that. I, 25 female, am an ex-Mormon, and my boyfriend, 28, and I live together. We were visiting my family for Thanksgiving. They're not happy with me leaving the church, nor living with my boyfriend outside of marriage, but they begrudgingly accepted it, and we have agreed to disagree. We did attend church with them while staying in their town, out of respect. In their ward, some of the queen bees, shall we say, and their husbands are swingers, but are quick to point out the sins of others. But we, of course, are expected to smile and turn the other cheek. When I was at church, some of these women were being very judgmental and lecturing me for living with my boyfriend while not married. My mother was giving me the look, basically begging me to ignore it and not say anything, but I just about had enough and loudly asked, "So how was your last swingers party?" The whole room just went silent and gasped. My boyfriend and I left for our hotel. We stayed at a hotel because if we stayed in their house, she'd want us to sleep in separate rooms, and left the following day. My mother won't speak to me. My dad wants me to apologize for causing a scene and embarrassing my mother. He agrees they're hypocrites, but that I need to learn to pick my battles. And this has caused more issues than it was worth, because now these women are being catty and excluding my mother. She was friends with some of them. Am I the idiot? Don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. You are not the idiot. Yes, Mom and Dad were embarrassed, but if they thought that this would have happened and should have, they would have discouraged you from attending. Did they try? Unloading on a hypocrite who overstepped is never wrong. They earned every last bit of it. Okay, so a large part of me is very, yes, that is glorious, and I would stand by it. Except you aren't the one who has to go back and be around these people. Your parents do. You threw a grenade on your way out, and your mom is the one who has to attempt to clean it up if she wants her social circle to return to some sense of normalcy. So everyone's the idiot here. The snarky hypocrites for sure, and you for blowing up your mom's social circle. I disagree. If you don't want your kid to throw a grenade into your social circle, don't let your social circle be crappy to your kid. Mom should have better friends. Mom and Dad probably participate. That's why they're her friends. Mom and Dad should just stop and let their daughter live her own life. Your religion doesn't give you the right to force other people to live by your beliefs.